Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. First review of 2018, which is kind of cool. Today we're looking at Junji Ito Collection Episode 1. Now, I will say that there's some good things about this episode and also some negative things about this episode. The positives come in the form of we get to see Ito and his animation style already, and I know that the collection is going to have different artists that work on it, so over the course it might change, slightly here and there, but it will always have, I think, that Ito feeling to it, and, it looks solid enough. I really love the animation. I think the animation was probably the highlight of this week's episode, and you can already see some of the more disturbing stuff, especially near the end of the episode where we get the second story of sorts, because this week's episode was two parts. It was one story and then another story that was like very short, like less than 3 minutes long. But the thing is that I feel for the first episode starting off this way was kind of an iffy choice. I was talking to a few people about this on Twitter. Horror in general, especially horror anime, is definitely a hard sell. It's something that you have to really, I think create an impact for the first episode to make people want to watch any future episodes of this. And for a lot of people, they thought the first episode already is, I already see on now people are reviewing the show as a 7 already. And I don't think it's that low. I mean, you can't even really review it based on the first episode, but I definitely understand for some people who base everything off the first episode, this was a weaker episode. I mean, the concept of, the cursed doll, at the end was interesting. The fact that people are turning into dolls apparently in a world that apparently that's a disease that afflicts people, and seeing them rot away to this kind of weird, I want to say, amalgamation of both what looks like a centipede and a human and a doll put together is creepy. But the earlier stuff with the fact of that one kid being able to curse people via like voodoo dolls and stuff like that, it really was just more unsettling, but it wasn't unsettling in the terms of horror. It was just like, I felt like it wasn't that strong. That's why I definitely don't think it was the best way to start the Ito collection. But, listen, as a huge Ito fan, I guarantee you there will be probably a lot more better works coming out soon, and I know for a fact already several of them. I'm not going to spoil them for you. I know several of them from the list that they showed of all the things that he's probably going to include are pretty disturbing, and those are the really good ones. I think they should have started off with some of those instead. But if you are a fan of Ito, tell me down below which ones you would have preferred to see. I think to me, honestly, it would have probably been a good one to have the like a siren story, the one that he had where that they were on the seas, and that whole thing where it was a really creepy siren story. I mean, people who know siren mythology know that sirens, have these beautiful voices that lure, seamen to these, various areas out in the ocean. But then, lo and behold, when they're actually there, they find out like these creatures are the ones that call them there, and then they either get devoured or, basically murdered, etc. But I think that would have been a better place to start, because that would have been like super creepy, because it would have showed everything about everything. It would have showed his art style, also at the same time showed how creepy his stories can be. But then again, that's also it's a hard one, because there's so many Ito shorts that he could have done, and I'm like, why start with this one? It's one I'm not too familiar with. I don't remember ever reading about this this voodoo doll one, but I don't know. I just feel like it could have been a better story. Maybe this would have been a better episode, like 3 or 4 type of scenario than episode 1 of sorts. But at least we get the opening, which I actually like the opening. It's kind of unsettling in its own right, so it's not a bad opening. I'm okay with the ending song. It was okay. Animation, like I said before, was probably the highlight of this week's episode, because it showed Ito's styling, and I think that that's a great thing. It also showed one of his various types of form of creature that, centipedes and stuff like that. Get used to that, because that is a big thing. Even spiders and stuff like that. I know some people are already talking about how they're afraid of spiders and stuff on Twitter, and it's a hard thing to watch this week's episode, but get used to it, because he does some even nastier things than just spiders, and that was interesting to see that, so I'm happy about that. I also like that they even had like the weird mist stuff that he loves doing, because Ito tends to have weird mist effects with, like, for example, the frog dying and being a rotted corpse. Now, you saw the weird strange mist come out. I was instantly reminding me of Uzumaki, where it had that same look to it of the mist, and I was like, okay, I'm so glad that it has its style. So even if it is different artists over the course of the time or whatever, which I don't think it's going to be too dramatically different. I think that they're going to go with the same art style, because I don't really see them really doing too much different with everything. But we'll see. It probably will have I think different animation styles, at least to say the least. But the art's probably gonna stay the same because I feel like Ito is really not gonna let them butcher that. But anyways, what did you guys think about the first episode? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. By the way, if anyone is wondering why I'm not using the new style that I'm thinking of using for this week's episode, there's a reason behind that, and I'll explain it in the actual first review that uses my new style that I want to implement. Expect like my older style of what you see right now with this review, because it makes it where I probably won't have to worry about copyright strikes, because I'm really terrified. I guarantee you guys, listen, I'm telling you, if I get one strike on any of my Ito reviews, I'm not reviewing it anymore, to be honest with you, because it's just going to make me paranoid for the rest of them. And, you know, I'll review it on the side when it finishes the whole thing, but even then I might not do a full review, so we'll see what happens. But, you know, hopefully it doesn't get, you know, striked. That'd be nice. Anyways, like I said before, comment down below some of your favorite Ito stories. Tell me what you thought about this week's episode. I would love to hear from you all. As always, guys and girls, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video around, check out my Patreon for various awards and stuff like that. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day. I don't think I have anything else planned to review for today. I will see if there is anything else. It'll probably be out way later tonight, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, bye-bye, everyone.